recording on. Yeah. So let's begin this review on Pig. Pig, it provides an engine for executing data flows in parallel on Hadoop. Okay, and for that, this it includes a language that is a Pig Latin language for expressing these data flows. And there are many operators there which can help you with this, like join, sort, filter operations. And in addition to that, you can create your own functions for reading, processing, and writing data. And Pig, as you know, is an Apache open source project, which means that you are free to download it and use it for yourself, and also you can contribute to it. Okay. Then Pig runs on Hadoop. It's a ecosystem component of Hadoop, as you all know, and it uses your HDFS and your MapReduce for processing. So whatever you do in Pig in the background, it is converted into MapReduce jobs. And HDFS, obviously, is a distributed file system that stores files across all of the nodes in a Hadoop cluster. Now, obviously, some HDFS basics for you, that the files are broken into blocks, and blocks are spread across different machines with multiple copies. That is, their blocks are being replicated. So even if one machine fails, you have the data accessibility. And by default, you see, if you don't mention anything, then Pig reads input files from HDFS. That is the default mode for Pig. That is the MapReduce or the HDFS mode. Okay. So for that, let's just have a quick recap of the MapReduce basics. And as you all remember that every job in MapReduce, it consists of three main phases: the map phase, the shuffle phase, and the reduce phase. And in the map phase, the application has the opportunity to operate on each record. And many maps are started at once. So even if you have a huge file of gigabytes or terabytes, your map job can finish safely under 1 minute. That is the secret of the processing speed of, or the analytics capability of Hadoop, that the speed of execution is very, very fast. Okay, and usually we go with a key on which the data is collected. So whenever we are dealing with the map task, it is done with the help of a key. So for example, if you are choosing some log data, then the user ID could be the key for that. Okay. After the map phase, there is a shuffle phase. Okay, and in which the data is distributed to different machines for the reduce phase. And every record for a given key will go to the same reducer. Okay, so reducer is basically just sorting out things, and for every key there is, because there are thousands of machines in a cluster, so we can give every key for this operation to a reducer. But for some demo purposes, we can just consider certain scenarios which I'll show you in the next slide. Okay, by taking one example. Okay. So for this, we'll take the example of the word count program. Okay, word count program of MapReduce, which is also known as the hello world of MapReduce. So you see, while you are learning Java, the first program that you usually write is the hello world program, right? So in this, the map phase, it will read each line of the text one at a time. So we are having a file containing text. So the idea is to count the number of words in the file. That is the first application that we do in MapReduce. And in the map phase, it reads each line in the text one at a time. Okay, so one line is assigned to one mapper. Okay, and then it splits out each word into a separate string. And for each word, it will output the word and a 1 to indicate that it has seen the word one time. And in the shuffle phase, the word is taken as the key and is sent to the reducers. In the reduce phase, all these are counted, the word and the number of its occurrences. And so we find the word count, okay, that which word occurs how many times. Okay, for this we considered this nursery rhyme, Mary Had a Little Lamb. So you can see, for our example, we have taken this as a 4-line text file. And let's assume that each line is sent to a different map task. So in actual, you see, there are thousands of maps, but for our example, we have got 4 maps, one for each line. So you can see this, the first line to the first map, the second line to the second map, and so on. And then for this particular example, we'll say that all the words from say A to L would go to first reducer, to one reducer, and from M to Z to the other reducer. You can see the process, you remember this, okay? And this is the code. You see just a 5-line code in Pig for our word count program. Now you are aware of it, that we use a flatten and tokenize to split out the line into words and words into word into further each word is separated, and then we can group and we can count. Okay, so this was regarding the word count program. Remember the MapReduce basics, because that is important. That is what is happening in the background, even though you cannot see it, but that's what occurs in the background. Okay, so before I go any further here, any questions on this? Because this is the tricky part. Otherwise, once you are doing operators, that's an easier thing for you to see the operator syntax and work out with the data analytics. But the basics should be clear, that how actually it happens in the background. So any questions on this map, reduce, and shuffle? All right, fine. So let's move ahead. Let's discuss about this Pig Latin language. It's a data flow language, and we can have simple linear flows, like the word count was a simple linear flow, okay? And we can have complex workflow also. It is capable of doing it. And as you now are aware of the Pig architecture, that Pig Latin, the code is first converted into a DAG, a directed acyclic graph, where the edges are the data flows and the nodes are the operators that process the data. And obviously, for this reason, since it's a data flow language, there are no if statements or no loops in Pig Latin. This is because the traditional languages that you've learned so far, C, C++, Java, they are all control flow languages, whereas Pig Latin focuses on data flow. It's a data flow language, all right? Now, where it is used, where Pig is used. So it can be used on every business case where Hadoop is used. Since Pig is a Apache Hadoop ecosystem component, so wherever you use Hadoop, Pig would fit in, okay? So you can see some of the use cases. It is used in big data processing technology. More than 60% of the Hadoop jobs are Pig jobs at Yahoo. Okay, so these are the facts. These are the things which are actually happening in the industry. Twitter extensively uses Pig for log analysis, sentiment analysis, mining of tweet data, etc. PayPal also uses Pig to analyze transaction data and fraud detection. And analysis of web logs is also done by many companies, using Pig. So these are some of the Pig use cases. Then we also discussed about the Pig philosophy. Now, a Pig has 4 founding principles that define its philosophy. And with this, you can get a broad or a helicopter view of the technology. So these philosophy is in 4 principles, that pigs eat anything, pigs live anywhere, pigs are domestic animals, and pigs can fly. I remember in our previous lectures, we had a thorough discussion about it. So while we are reviewing this thing, let's ask a few students. You can raise your hands. You need to answer all these 4. You need to explain all these 4, right? So you can raise your hands for this. You see, we have done this thing many a time. So why not more hands? Only 3 people have raised hand. I'm surprised. No, the rest are sleeping or what? Okay, let's ask Akriti.
So Pig eats anything means we can deal with semi-structured data, structured data, and unstructured data even. Pigs live anywhere means we can work on both local file system and on DFS, distributed file system. Pigs are domestic animal means they can easily be controlled and modified, which means they are user friendly. And pigs fly, that means processing of data is very fast.
That's very good. Excellent answer, Akriti. Perfect.
Thank you, sir.
So I hope all of you got this. Very good description by Akriti about the Pig philosophy. Kindly keep that thing in mind. Let's move ahead now. The pig data types. So we have two broad category of pig data types, the simple and the complex. Okay, and the simple data types, since pig is, Hadoop is based on Java, so you can see the similarity in the data types. We have the simple data types, the ints, long, float, double, big integer, big decimal, boolean, char array, byte array. Date time, now you have seen. Initially when we had a discussion, I think maybe you were not aware, but now you will see the power of date time also, that you can extract almost anything out of the date. So we have a date, then a t, then the time, and then a plus and the time zone. You've been working with this in the previous classes, so I won't be going into details. Then the complex data types are the maps, the tuples, and the bags, and you've been using them in one way or the other. The tuples, the bags, they come in handy. And this is the summary of complex data types. Okay. Then we have other operators also. The comparison operators are there, the Boolean operators are there. Then you have identifiers. So you have the rules regarding the identifiers. They can begin with an alphabet and can be followed by letters, numbers, and underscores. Okay. And next, to find out the schema of a relation, because you see, whatever we do in pig, whatever we work out in pig is stored in a relation. Okay, the data flows are based on one relation to other. So to see the schema of a relation, you can just use this describe and then the relation name. It will describe the schema for the relation if it exists, if the schema exists. Okay. The next important thing is where to work with pig. Okay, I request all of you to kindly, even some of you are very good, you've already, revised, worked with these concepts. If some of you have missed certain things, you can now be very attentive in this review class, and you can ask questions also if something is not clear. Okay, don't just listen to me all the time. So we are talking of the grunt shell now. Just like we have a bash shell where we work with the Linux or the Ubuntu commands that we are using, the Ubuntu mode we are using for our Linux. Similarly, to work with your pig Latin commands, you have a shell known as the grunt shell. Okay, and what it does, you can submit your pig Latin scripts there. You can run your code there. You can job the controls by using some set commands, and you can access the file systems, both local as well as HDFS. That is the usefulness of the grunt shell. Now obviously the next question would be how to invoke that. Okay, how to invoke that and in which mode. So you can see currently there are 4 modes for the grunt shell. You can have a local mode, you can have a MapReduce mode, you can have a Thais mode, you can have a Thais local mode. Okay, written as Thais_local. Okay, so if you have Thais environment there, you can work with this Thais and Thais_local. But in our discussions, as I discussed with you earlier also, we'll be dealing on 2 types, the local mode and the MapReduce mode. So to invoke pig in some specific mode, you use the -x parameter. So you can have a pig-x local would start pig in the local mode. That means you can access files in the local file system. And if you use pig-x MapReduce, that begins it in MapReduce or the HDFS mode. Even if you just write pig, okay, that is the default mode. If you don't mention any mode, then by default it begins in the MapReduce or the HDFS, or we also call it the DFS mode. Okay, and this -x option is a short form for the execution type. All right, so let's now start the terminal so that we can see all these things there. So to start the terminal now, the command obviously now should be very clear and easy for you. Start -dfs.sh. So we're going to start the distributed file system services in our shell. Okay, so this will start which file system services. Let's ask. Yes, I've unmuted somebody. I've unmuted somebody. Kindly unmute yourself. So we are not having this person. इसको meeting से निकालना पड़ेगा मेरे को लगता है. So the answer is already there on the screen now. Amit Yadav, you are not present in the meeting. Shall I remove you? Raise your hand if you are present. Amit Yadav. So Amit Yadav is not there. I should remove him, I suppose. Yes, I've unmuted somebody. Kindly unmute yourself. Ankit Kumar. $189. Are you there, Ankit? 189. Ankit 188.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Ankit.
Yes.
Ankit,
Sir,
what are these services? Name nodes, data nodes, and secondary name nodes. What are these?
these are the HDFS services.
Why do we need them?
Sir, to work on their big data analytics, these services are must to own, as we have to work with the web UI and to make a connection with them.
Okay, fine. So these services are required. They will start up your distributed file system. You can work with the distributed file system. So your distributed file system comes into force or comes into action once you have started these services. So you can see the status of these services with the Java process status command, JPS. You can see these services have started. So now you can also, you can see the web UI of this thing. For this, you need to go to localhost 9870. So you can see your distributed file system. Okay, so you can see your these are the files in your distributed file system. So you know that there is something known as a block size and a replication factor. Okay, so we have discussed all this in our HDFS review, so I'm not going to go into details for that. The next would be to start the pig. So if we can start the pig, and yes, Dipti.
So, when you explained about that delete button in web UI in Hadoop 3.x, how actually did you activated that delete button?
It came automatically. I didn't do anything with that.
So actually, you configured some settings in XML site, and then you stopped the services and then you started the services. Was it exactly the way you told us?
Yeah, it's like that only. If you add some services starting and stopping is basically if you are making some changes to your configuration. Okay, otherwise some configurations are automatically configured once the file is saved. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
I think uh, there are two settings for that delete button. One obviously is to activate the trash, that,
Yes,
that
sir.
that is the interval and the checkpoint properties.
Yes.
And another one is some delete permission. So I'll see if I can show it to you today. I'll see that, right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So to start pig in the local mode, we should write this pig-x local. Just see the screen. It will tell you how it has started in which mode. You can see trying execution type local, pick local as the execution type because you mentioned local. So it is trying whether it can open it in local or not. Okay. So now the pig is working in the local mode. That means it can read files or it can write files to the local file system. Then if I write like this, see the message again now. If I write it like this, oh, we are already in pig, sorry. So, yeah. So we can write something like map reduce here. See, it will again, it will tell you what it is trying. So the first mode it tries is always the local. Okay. So then it tries the map reduce and then pick map reduce as the execution type. See now what happens if I just write pig, what all it goes through, right? I'm writing just pig here. So you can see on screen, it is picking up the local, the map reduce. So that is the sequence. So if I go in with the, say, if I go in with pig-x, say tase, so it will go through the sequence local, map reduce, and then tase. You can see the sequence. So tase it at 4th number, right? Tase local it first looks. So it looks in that sequence: local, map reduce, tase local, and tase, and picks tase as the execution type. So if the tase environment is there, it will work accordingly, but I don't think we have the tase environment installed here. So we'll be focusing on local and map reduce modes only, right? So this is regarding how you can start your grunt shell. Once this symbol comes in front of you, then you are ready to work with pig, the pig commands on the command line. You can work directly with the pig scripts from your bash shell also. Okay, we'll see that today. So one command that we just saw is the clear command. It runs here in the grunt shell also. Okay, and then the next 3 commands should be the load command, the store command, and the dump command. These are the basic, pig data analytic commands, operators. You can say the pig data analysis operators. The basic ones are the load, store, and dump. Okay, so before I go there, let's see if we have something for you here. Okay, you can answer this question which is there in front of you, quick and fast. I'll give you limited time for this. Closing in 5 seconds now. Yeah, I'm closing the poll now. Sharing the results with you. See, we just learned this. We have worked with it before also. Still, 32% of you are answering incorrectly. Somebody saying tase also. So I wish that today in the evening I can discuss with these 18 students who have answered this. So raise your hands who all have answered the local mode, please. Raise your hands. If you don't raise your hands now, I'll ask you later in the evening. I'll call you, right? Yeah, very good, very good. So I'll talk to Gursevak.
Yes, sir.
Gursevak, even after studying for so many hours, you're not sure what is the default pig mode?
Sir, I thought it will be local. Yes. सर आपने बताया था ना कि पिग हम लिख के अगर एंटर करेंगे तो वो लोकल पे स्टार्ट होगा.
I don't think so. I said अगर pig लिखेंगे तो default mode जो है map reduce है. You're not listening properly, I would say.
नहीं सर मैं कर रहा हूँ जो है ना.
I don't know. You missed it then. Okay. I'll tell you why you missed it. Just look on the screen, okay? Look on screen. The slide is there in front of you. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
See, the default mode of the pig is the, you see the modes are here, tase, local, these are the modes, The default mode, if you just write pig, is the map reduce mode. I don't know why you missed it. Surprising.
सर अगर सीरीज वाइज जाएंगे जैसे वहाँ पे हमने तेज लिखा था पिग तेज लिखा था तो वो फिर प्रोसेस पहले उसने लोकल देखा फिर मैप रिड्यूस देखा फिर तेज लोकल देखा फिर तेज ना.
ओके,
तो उस हिसाब से पहले लोकल होना चाहिए ना.
होना चाहिए ना, ये आप सोचते हो. मैंने ये भी तो लिखा था ना. I wrote like this. I'm not mentioning any type here. Okay. So if I just if I don't write any type and I write pig, read on the screen. That's why I asked you to read on the screen. See, I've not mentioned any type. See what it is trying and what it has picked. Read the third line. So map reduce उसने pick किया, आपने कोई mention नहीं किया तो उसने map reduce pick किया. So by default also, when we are working with huge files, that cannot be stored in the local file system. So HDFS has to be the default mode. Okay. So be careful, Gursevak, you are an intelligent student. Okay, you can lower your hands now. You can lower your hands. Thank you. Divakar, unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir. Sir, it's me.
No, you mute yourself.
Yes.
Yes, Divakar, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
आपको समझ में आ रहा है दिवाकर?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
अच्छा, असाइनमेंट आपने खुद ही बनाई थी?
Yes, sir.
देख लो।
मेरा ही हैंड रिटन है। Yes, sir. मेरा
ये नहीं, मेरे को नहीं पता, आपके हैंड रिटन में बहुत सारे लोगों ने किया है, तो फिर आप भी उसी में हो?
सर चेक कर लीजिए सर, मैं आपको अब बोलेंगे तो मैं अभी हार्ड कॉपी का फोटो खींच के भेज सकता हूँ।
वो ठीक है, बट people have submitted how come your assignment has reached some other people? Can you explain?
सर
आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया ना, तभी हुआ है ना।
सर तो वो हो सकता है मैं मतलब किसी को दिया हूँ, अगर कोई आंसर चाहिए होगा तो उसके लिए।
तो उसने अगर आपकी वो कर दिया तो आप भी बीच में इन्वॉल्व हो।
सर मेरा तो असाइनमेंट सर मेरे पास है सर, आप बोलेंगे तो मैं अभी भी फिर से दे सकता हूँ।
नहीं, मैं क्यों बोलूंगा, आप देखिए, मैं आपको आपका असाइनमेंट दिखाता हूँ, अभी दिखाते हैं आपको। रुको एक मिनट इधर। हाँ देखिए, आपको असाइनमेंट दिखाते हैं। आप अपनी हैंडराइटिंग पहचानिए, ठीक है?
यस सर।
पहचानिए। आपकी असाइनमेंट, आपकी हैंडराइटिंग है?
यस सर, मेरे हैंडराइटिंग है।
नाम देखो किसका ऊपर?
अभिषेक का।
आपको फेल कर देते हैं, अभिषेक को पास कर देते हैं। देखो, मैं तो तीनों को फेल करूंगा। ये तीसरा भी देख लो आप लोग, कोई बात नहीं, आप तीसरा भी देख लो। ये दिवाकर चौबे, ये लो अभिषेक कुमार। सी कितनी मेहनत की है आप लोगों ने। सी आपकी हैंडराइटिंग है ना ये?
Yes,
no,
sir,
no,
मेरा
no.
handwriting
You see, once you have given it to somebody and they have, looking at some answers is good, I don't mind. अपने हाथ से लिखो तो सही, नहीं लिखा तो तीनों को फेल करूंगा। That is my promise.
सर मेरे से तो सर आंसर के लिए मांगा था।
तो जो भी मांगा था आपको, आपने दिया तो आपको भुगतना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? So there are others also, दूसरी क्लास में भी हैं, partially copied भी हैं। ऐसे थोड़ा चलेगा कि आप क्या समझते हो, you can fool your teachers।
तो मैं तो सर कॉपी नहीं किया हूँ ना सर।
नहीं, आपकी मुझे क्या पता किसकी हैंडराइटिंग है? why should I look into it? मेरे को 3 कॉपीज एक जैसी मिली हैं, that means कि इन्होंने आपस में मिलके जो भी किया, मुझे नहीं उससे मतलब किसका है। How can I be sure? And why should I waste my time into it? I'll fail you।
सर मैं रीसेंड कर देता हूँ सर।
वो रीसेंट, मेरे पास इतना टाइम नहीं है भाई। I'm not that type of a teacher की जिसमें I need to see that you people are working. If you are not, I'll make you work. Don't worry. अब अगली बारी जब रीअपियर का होगा ना, तब अपनी हैंडराइटिंग में अच्छे से किसी को दिखाना मत और भेजना, ठीक है?
सर तो मैं तो
Okay, let's continue with the class now. Okay, and I would request all of you to be focused here. आपको अगर suppose offline mode में होता है, even then you need to write a lot. अगर एग्जाम ऑनलाइन मोड में होता है, इवन देन यू नीड टू वर्क आउट अ लॉट। वहां कोई हेल्प थोड़ा होगी कि जैसे आपने कर लिया, ऊपर नाम लिख दिया तो असाइनमेंट आपकी हो गई, ठीक है? सो काइंडली फोकस ऑन दिस, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम रिव्यूइंग इट। उसके बाद दिसंबर 12 से जब रिव्यू क्लासेस होंगी, एक बार फिर आपको सारा पढ़ा दूंगा, सो दैट यू डोंट हैव एनी रिग्रेट्स कि आपको बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स पढ़ाया नहीं गया। दैट इज द आइडिया हियर, टू मेक यू वर्क। ओके, सो काइंडली गेट इनटू दैट मोड प्लीज, ऑल ऑफ यू। Okay, then these are the 2 commands. So let's ask somebody, what are these fs and sh commands? Let's ask, let's see, we have Amisha. Amisha, unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Amisha. Amisha, can you tell us what are these fs and sh commands? सामने स्क्रीन पे हैं, आपकी हेल्प के लिए बताएंगे कैसे यूज करना है इनको। ये मैं ग्रैंड शेल में हूँ, हाउ आई शुड यूज, गिव एन एग्जांपल प्लीज। आपको वाइवा में ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा मैं, फिर यू शुड बी एबल टू आंसर द यूजेज यू सी। कैन यू आंसर अमीशा? ओके, better answer next time. Okay, no problems. Let's see if Yadav ji is back. Yes, Amit Yadav, unmute yourself. अमित यादव तो है ही नहीं लगता है, ठीक है। बॉबी सिंह, अनम्यूट। बॉबी सिंह,
गुड मॉर्निंग सर।
गुड मॉर्निंग। सो तो नहीं रहे?
नहीं सर।
सुन रहे हैं ना क्लास?
ना, हाँ सर सुन रहा हूँ, पहले मिस हो गया था इसलिए सुन रहा हूँ।
ये बताइए fs और sh क्या होता है? What is the usefulness of these two, commands, fs and sh? जल्दी आंसर करना, अगर नहीं बता सकते और मैं किसी और को पूछ लूंगा, ठीक है?
एक्चुअली सर मुझे नहीं पता।
अब ध्यान से सुनना, अगली बारी जब पूछूं तो पता होना चाहिए, ठीक है?
ठीक है सर।
चलो, लेट्स आस्क Dimanshu. Yes, Dimanshu, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Sir, in sh, we can invoke shell command.
Right.
Like, sir, sh and ls will list the total file.
Good. Right. So sh is for invoking your bash shell commands. Okay. So sh, and then ls is one option. Okay. You can see the listing here. sh and ls hyphen l is another option. Okay, like this. And what about fs, Dimanshu?
Sir, file system.
Okay, what is that?
Like, sir, if we do the same like fs and hyphen ls.
Okay. Will it work?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it will list. So if we want to work with our distributed file system files commands, then we can work with this. Okay, so all the commands will work. Whatever you work with Hadoop FS, in grunt shell you can just write fs and the command, say fs hyphen put. Then maybe you can, we need to see some files. Let's see some files beginning with D. Say for example, D1 is one file. Let us transfer it to the distributed file system in the root. So the file has been transferred. With this command fs-put, we have transferred a file D1 into the root of the distributed file system. So that is the usefulness of these two commands. Right, Dimanshu, thank you very much. Correct answers. Right, so let's move ahead. Then we have some utility commands. We have already seen them working. Help is there. Then you can see how to use help. Then history command is there, right? So in history commands, only the grunt shell commands are coming. So if you write something like fs and sh, all those commands won't be listed in the history. Only the grunt shell commands are there in the history. And by default, history loads the commands in along with line numbers. If you don't want to see the line numbers, you can use a history hyphen n option. Okay, that is regarding this history command. So let's see if we have some more things coming up for you. Yeah, not yet. Okay, let's move ahead. Once again, I'm going very slow with this review. You may ask any question that you wish. That is my request to you, so that you don't need to memorize anything later on, because whatever we are discussing, we are working it on the terminal along with, right? So don't hesitate to ask any questions if you have. All right. Next, let's see what we have next. Then the quit, kill and set commands. Quit is used to exit the grunt shell. You can alternatively, you can use control D also, right? It will take you out of the grunt shell back to your bash or whatever shell you are using. And the kill command, if you need to kill some job, for usually an admin command, because multiple jobs are running on a cluster. Then if you need to stop some job or abort a job, then you can use the kill command. And then the set command can be used to set some configuration for your mappers and reducers. So if you use a set default parallel 20, it will set the number of reducers to 20. Again, an admin command, so you cannot do much about it. And then clear and execute and the run commands, this I'll discuss, okay, because these are good commands. But once we have done some basic commands, then we will come to these run and execute commands. Similar with a little bit of different working also, right? So next is running the Pig Latin code. Okay. Before this, run, execute, or the different ways in which the code can be run. You can see that the code can be run in, if you have some Pig Latin code that you've written, you can run it using the grunt shell, right? Writing the commands itself in the grunt shell at the prompt. Or you can, in the bash shell, you can use the pig-e or the pig-f commands also. So before I go there, I'll first, discuss the basic data analysis operators, that is load, store, and dump. Okay, important one now. All of you need to pay attention if you have missed out something. Okay. So what is the default mode? I think let's use this exit command. No, it is the quit command. Yeah, let's use this quit command to come out of the grunt shell. Okay, you can use Control D also. So I'm going to begin this pig in the MapReduce mode. Okay, by default it will start in the MapReduce mode. Let me list the files from my cluster. Okay, from the root, let's see what files we have there. So we have emp.txt. So let's use that in our discussions, the emp.txt file. Let's load this file for analysis in our grunt shell. Okay, for that we need a load operator, and the result of the load operator is stored in a relation. So I can store it in the emp relation like this. I'm writing here emp load, then the file name. So file obviously is under the root. Okay, then the next thing in load is to specify what type of file we are using, whether it is a space separated, a tab separated, or a comma separated values file. So you know that our data set m.txt is comma separated. So for that we use the storage function. We use the pig storage function here, specifying comma as this, and then with an as I can specify the schema. Okay, so I'll mention the schema simply as, say, I know that there are 8 columns. Okay, so 8 columns are there. Okay, and then I can press enter. So I've loaded the file emp.txt into the relation emp, specifying comma as the separator, that is the separator in my file, and naming the fields as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, because I know there are 8 fields of information in my emp.txt file. Okay, and if I describe the schema for emp, you can see that it will tell you that there are 8 fields with the names, and the default data type would be the byte array. Default data type would be the byte array, right? So if I can just improve upon this version, okay, maybe I can specify a more detailed one. Say for example, I can specify this as int, the name as char array, okay, job also as char array. Okay, this F is the salary, so I can give it as float like this. Okay, and if now I describe, you can see that it will tell you whatever you have mentioned is taken, the rest again is taken as byte array. So this is the load operator. Now no action takes place while you load the file. It is simply stored in the relation emp, and the actual MapReduce processing starts once either you dump or store this relation. Right now MapReduce is not coming into picture. Okay, then if I dump would mean I want to display the contents of this relation on the screen. Okay, so it will now start a series of MapReduce jobs, as you can see, and it will display the contents of this relation. You can see that there are 16 map records, some internal working for it, and then you can see the resultant, that is the data contained in your data set. Okay, and I also suggested in the initial part of today's lecture that whatever data set you are picking should have a date field in it, because dates are very important. See, date of transaction, date on which the payment was made. So date field is very important. So kindly all of you, all the groups, you pick up a good data set with a date field in it, preferably in the format that you see in front of you. A date, then a month, then a year, right? So that we can work with the date time feature, the date time data type that we have, which is very strong and which helps you to extract anything out of your date, right? So this is the dump operator. See, the dump operator and the store operator, which I'm going to discuss next, are the only 2 pig operators which don't require a relation on the left. You see, I use this load. There is a relation on the left. I have used dump. There is no relation on the left, right? And no semicolon is also needed after dump. Okay. And then the store operator. Now, most of the time, the data sets that we are working with are having thousands of rows of information. So it's not possible to view them on a screen. So we would like to store them in a file. For that we use the store operator. Again, no relation name on the left. There are only two operators in which there is no relation name on the left. They are the store and the dump operators. Okay. So store, your relation is emp into, okay, store emp into. Then you mention, since you are working in the distributed file system mode, so you need to mention like this, root should be there. Otherwise, if you don't give root, then it will go to the default folder. Okay, we discussed in our previous lecture what the default folder in HDFS is. So let's store this in the default folder. Okay, let's take up some name there. Say let's take Dimanshu. Okay. Okay, and that's it. That is the first part of it. Store emp into Dimanshu. Now, whatever the contents of the emp relation, they'll be stored into a folder with the name as Dimanshu, not a file. Okay, remember. So store command is used to store your data into a directory first, and within that directory some file is there. Okay, we'll see what file, and this would be stored at user HD user path. This would Dimanshu folder would be created under the folder user HD user. Okay, so let's see this, and you will see how many records are stored into the file. That also would be reflected on the screen. It will tell you 16 records. You can see total records written 16. I think you can see it here, all of you. Total records written 16. Okay, total bytes written this. Okay, so let's go to our let's browse through this. There is this user folder. Then there is this HD user folder, and below that you can see a Dimanshu folder has been created. Okay, once you open it, there would always be two or multiple files in it. Minimum 2 files would be there. If the number of mappers is used is more, okay, then this M or R would mean with what type of thing you're using. If reducers are also involved in it, okay, if it is simply a storage, then a mapper would be there. Okay, so you can see part-m-5 This is the file in which your data has been stored, and this success indicates that the operation was a store operation was a success. So if I open this file here, if I download this file here, okay, the file now I can save this. It is here. If I open it, you can see all the records here, but see they are separated by default by tab, because I didn't mention how to store them. So if you don't mention how to store the file, it would be stored as a tab separated file, which is by default. Okay, so let's get out of here. Let's go here. We can also view our file here also. So can some of you suggest me a command to view the contents of the file? Raise your hands to, if I want to see the contents of the file that we just saw under the Dimanshu folder. Can you suggest an HDFS command for it? Okay, Lovepreet wants to answer. Lovepreet and Anchal Mittal have raised hands. Yeah, Lovepreet, go ahead.
So good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, we can use fs.
Okay, we can use fs hyphen
cat.
Okay.
Space slash user slash HD user slash Dimanshu.
Okay.
And then slash the file name part m.
Fine. That's it. You can see it like this also. Good answer. Kunal, Sharanjit, Anshul, they've all raised hands. Thank you. Thank you. You can lower your hands, all of you. I know you know the answer. Okay. Now another question. If we need to store it in this, if I write like this, store emp into Dimanshu. If I want to store it as a comma separated storage, then I need to write this. Okay. Simple question. You can raise your hands. Will this work? Quick raise of hands. Okay, Lovepreet, you can lower your hand. You've already answered. Anchal Mittal has raised the hand. My question is, will this run, the whatever I've written, store emp into this using peak storage? Will it run? Okay, Gagandeep se puch lete hain. Let's ask Gagandeep.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So it will not work because the Dimanshu folder is already existing over there.
Okay.
We should delete this first.
Or we can give some other name, right?
Yes, sir.
So let's give this Dimanshu 1 and let's give it under the root. Okay. So we'll again have another folder, but now this time under the root. Okay. To display the contents, I can simply write this. Let's see if it works. Right. So now we have comma separated values. Some people are still raising hands. If it is to ask something, okay, fine, thank you. Same people, Sharanjit, Kriti, many people raise their hands, Kunal also. So this is, you see, the folder name once created. If you use it again in the store command, it will give you an error. I'll give you an example here. If I again try to store this command, okay, it will give me an error that this failed for /Dimanshu1 because Dimanshu1 already exists. Okay, so this is your load, store and dump command, very effective for your analytics because then you can have a view of your files. Okay, and after this we'll come to this execution mode and the executing your Pig Latin script. But before that, let's go to have a quick poll. The poll is in front of you. Quick answer, okay? And whatever answer you feel, okay, 5 seconds more. That was not a difficult question, please. I'll close the poll in the next 5 seconds. Quick answers, please. Closing now. Sharing the results with you. So correct answer is directory. I don't know why you're confused. Whenever this question comes, the correct answer would be a directory. The store operator, you mention whatever you mention, that directory is created. And within that directory, whatever files are there, that is not for the store to decide. Store only decides the directory name. If the directory name exists, it won't write. So the correct answer for this would be the directory option, right? Some of you have written none also. Can I ask who has written none? बाद में देख के फिर पूछूंगा आपसे, अभी सेमेस्टर खत्म नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है? If you are giving such vague answers, I'm going to ask you many times. Remember, none. Somebody has answered none. 2 people. Who are they? Okay. Yes, Aditya.
Yes, sir.
Have you answered none?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, I thought, sir, you told na ki the store, it stores in a folder. So I thought there is no option like folder. So I clicked
come on.
on
Folder and directory is the same thing. Okay. Yes, Karthik.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, the same reason as you had told, the by default it's stored in the folder, and due to the less time
Your computer,
without seeing the folder option,
yeah, you see, your computer science students, folder and directory are used interchangeably. ये तो पता ही है आपको, नहीं?
Yes, sir, but in a short time without seeing the folder option, I tick the none option.
I gave you about good 38 seconds to answer this question. That's not a short time. Okay. Anyways, no problem.
Okay. Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Let's see if we have any other question. Okay. Not yet. All right. So let's now work through with our run and execute commands. Okay. For that, I will, just use whatever commands we have used here. So let's see if we can pick up our load command. Oh, keyboard is not helping, so maybe, yeah, mouse selection can be done. Okay, so what I do here is I create a file, say I create a blank file here, and within this I will paste our load command. Then I'll use this dump command, dump m. Then I'll use a store command. Or let us just use 2 commands, okay? So this T11 file contains these two commands. Okay, I'm going to save it and then I'm going to close this file. I'm going to show you the contents of this file T11. Now this is our script. T11 is called a script file because it contains your pig scripts, the commands that you want to run. Okay, in either one way is you can run them individually on the grunt shell, or you can store it in some file and then you can execute the file as a whole. So if I run the command, see now I'm going to use run and then my script file name. Okay, so this will do both the tasks. It will first load the file and then it will dump the results. See it, both the commands have been done and you can see the output on the screen. This is your run command. See the beginning of the run command. While you start the run, see here I started run. Okay, so it shows you the first command emp is equal to this, it runs it, then it writes the next command. So you can say with the run, the whatever commands are run, they are stored in the history. Okay, so I'll use the history command now for you. Okay, let's see. Just write history. So you can see all these commands I've used in history so far. Okay, dump command is not a part of the history, remember. Okay, dump command is not a part of the history. And if I can use history -n, okay, you can see no line numbers. You can see the history commands. Okay, and see there are 6 lines in the history, remember. Now I'm going to execute the same file. Execute and run do the same thing. They will execute your pig script. So now I'm doing execute T11. Okay, so again the same thing would be there. Okay, the same output would be there. But if I run the history now, if I run the history, you see these commands have not been added to the history. So the commands which are run using the execute option, they are not a part of the history. We have still the same 6 that we had before we run the execute command. So if you are clear with the run and execute and the difference between them, you can raise your hands please. If it's clear, the difference and the working. Yeah, this is important. You should know it. What is the meaning of run and execute? All right. Okay, thank you. You can lower your hands now. Thank you. Okay, let's come out of the grunt shell. Use a quit option here. Okay, we are out of the grunt shell now. Let's list our T11 file. It's here. Okay, you can lower your Gursevak, you want to ask something? Okay. Gursevak, you can ask your question if there is any question. Okay, it was just, yeah.
There is not a problem.
Okay, fine, no problem. All right. So now the same commands, same pig script which is there in T11. T11 is a script file. The same thing can be run here also. Okay, how? See the file part, say pig. Okay, and if I just write here pig and then I write here say T11. You can see the same output here. Okay, so what I did here was I just used this pig and the file which needs to be executed. So this would assume which mode for us? This would assume a HDFS mode for us for pig. Okay, let's suppose I change the contents of this file. Look very carefully for this so that the distinction is clear. Let me now assume that my file is in the local file system. I remove this slash from here. Okay, and let's suppose that the file is in the local file system. Let's locate for it whether we have this file here or not. Yeah, we have it here. Okay, so now if I run it here like pig T11, this would give an error. Okay, because this script contains the load as a local file. Okay, so let's see. Or it won't find the file actually. Okay, it won't be able to find the file. It would look in the default distributed file system and would look into the user HD user folder. Okay, and it won't find the file. So you can see here fail to read data. It is looking here because you're running the default mode and you have written just m.txt in the quotes. So it is looking for this file here. Okay, so the correct way it would be to use this. Mention the mode first and then run the file. Now you're mentioning that the file which needs to be loaded, the m.txt, it's in the local file system. Okay, so now you can see, you'll see the output of all the records again. Right, the same thing, you see there is a pig-e option for short command. So pig-e, and then maybe you can write the commands here. Emp, let's see if we can have a copy here of the same thing. Yeah, so this is one command, and then I can write here dump emp, and then I can close the quotes. See, what I've done is pig-e. So now after this, in double quotes, I will write all the commands separated by semicolons if required. Your dump does not require a semicolon, so I have not put it there. You can put it there also, but without it also it will run. So this will again do the same task. Right? Look here again, if I want to run from the local file system, okay, and if I write this thing only, it won't work, because now sorry, if I want to run from the distributed file system, it won't run. So if you need to mention, you must mention it, the entire command like this. Now it means execute this script while assuming the files for analytics in the local file system. So it is looking for m.txt into the local file system now. I hope the execution modes are clear to you. Okay, I have discussed all the various ways in which it can be done. Okay, I hope that is clear. Let's now work with a few operators. Let's go back to Pig. So I'm working with a command, say an operator, say sample emp 0.5. So, oh yeah, the operator is not there because we came out of it. Let's again paste it. So what would be the output, you know? Sample is basically when we take a sample, a small sample or just a random sample from our data set which contains maybe hundreds and thousands of rows. We discussed this in detail in our previous lectures. So if we need to take a sample of 50%, we may write 0.5. So any value between 0 and 1 would take it as a sample. 0 would mean 0% and 1 would mean 100%. Yes, Anshul? Anshul, yes, Anshul, go ahead.
So 7 rows will be.
So you're answering. Okay, so sample would pick a 50% sample. Anshul, total records are 16. So 50% is 8. You are saying 7.
Okay, sir. Sir, I thought it would be 14. Actually,
no, my question is like
was 14 rows, na?
No. All right. If there are 16 rows, then would you be sure that it would pick up 8 with this sample?
Sir, sometimes it give 8 or 7 or 8.
Okay, so variations are going to be
Yes,
there.
Sir.
So let's dump the relation D to see, you know, how many rows are returned. Ideal would be 50% would be 8, but it is randomized, so answer may vary. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? Let's run it again. Let's run it again. See if it is 9 or 8 or 7 this time. See the randomization. Okay, so we cannot be sure of this. Yeah, but the answer would be in an error of say 0.5 or something like this, because it's a randomized algorithm. It is not exact, and the number of rows, you know, the rows would be returned would be different. Like we have 5 rows here. If we run it again, we can have some other rows next time. Okay, so we have Jones, Martin, Blake, Turner. Let's see what comes next in the next randomized run. Okay, so Smith has come, Blake, Ajay. So there is a variation in this, right? So I hope sample is clear. Sample, then the relation name. I'm going to write it in front of you. Sample, then the relation name. If I write 0.5, that means I want to extract a 50% sample from my data set. Yes, Deepthi, please ask your question.
So variations are quite large. What would be the benefit of this then?
In smaller, yeah, the benefit is that we just want to see what type of data or what, we want to do small analytics on parts of the data set and then generalize it, maybe whether this data set is useful for our analysis or not. So variations could be, but if we have a bigger data set, then the variations would be lesser. In smaller data sets, variations could be large, right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. So let's have a quick poll for all of you. Okay. The poll is in front of you. Easy poll, I would say. Not given a difficult one this time. Time would be limited, of course. Okay, closing the poll now. Sharing the results. C is the correct, 90% of you have answered it correctly. Okay. Somebody has written delete records. Can that person raise the hand, please? You can raise your hand now, or I will give you a call later on. Someone has answered delete records. Please, you need to answer because you are still there in the meeting. You can raise your hand and chat to me, no problem. But once I give you a call, you will be difficult, you have difficulty in answering. Please, somebody has answered delete as the option. Who is that person? Okay, fine. I'll talk to this person in the evening, right? Delete record, that's fine. Okay. So, okay, let's work with another command, another operator. Since we do have a lot of time to review all these, so I'm going slow with this. Okay. Let's see now. Let's use another one. If I just write this rank emp, okay, I'm going to rank my data set. I'm going to give it ranks. So I can just write rank and then the data set or the relation name. See, it will give the ranks in a serial order. Look at that. So you see, it has given a serial ranks 1, 2, 3, and 16 ranks are there. Obviously, this type of ranking is not of much use to us. So what we can do is we can pick up some field for ranking. So we can say rank emp by F. F is our salary, remember? Okay. So I want you to look at the values on the screen and tell me, if I do the ranking, what would be the first two records in my relation E? Kindly write it on a piece of paper, I'll ask you, okay? When I rank M by F, what would be the first two records? Okay, fine. So let's dump. Can somebody first tell what are the first two records when I dump E? Raise your hands, please. The data is in front of you right now. We are ranking by salary. So what would be rank 1? Which record would have the rank 1? And which record would have the rank 2? Is it that difficult? No one is going to try? I'm expecting some answers from you. Okay, Himanshu Gupta has raised hand. Many people are raising hands now. Okay. Let's see. Anshul, Abhishek, Aditya, Dimanshu, Gagan. So many people are raising hands. Let's look for some new person. Yeah. Yes, Himanshu.
Sir, James and Smith.
James and Smith as rank 1 and 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's see. Stay with me, Himanshu. You said rank 1 for James, 2 for Smith, right? Let's check. I'm going to come on the screen. Ranking is a expensive task, so it takes time. It is Smith and James, right?
Yes, sir.
So when see, this was the command. Thank you, Himanshu. This was the command ranking M by F. When you don't mention what order, ascending or descending, it goes in ascending order. That is lower to higher. So lowest salary first, then higher, then like this. Okay. And if I do here a descending option, obviously number 1 rank would be king. Okay, we'll see that. But you see there are ranks like 2 people having same salary is Martin and Ward, 1250. So they are having the same ranks, 4 and 4, and the next person gets a rank of 6. So this means these are discontinuous ranks. Okay, if we want continuous ranks, okay, then we should write here a dense option. Okay, we should write here dense. If I write dense here, now the ranking would be 1, 2, 3, then Martin and Ward 4, 4, and then Miller would have 5. We'll have no break in ranks. So if you want continuous ranks, you need a dense option in your rank operator. Okay, I'm going to do this now, and I'm going to do a quick poll after this so that we are nearing the end of our meeting. Now you can see that there won't be any break in the ranks. It will be continuous ranks. Yes, Dipti?
So it happened by mistake.
All right. You can see now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 and then 5. Okay. The ranks are continuous now. So this is possible with the dense option. Okay. With a dense option in your rank command. Remember this, right? So one last poll for today, which is in front of you now. Quick 20 seconds, okay? Not more than that. Ten seconds now. That's so easy, this question. We just studied and I'm asking you. Okay, closing the voting now. Closing the polling. So we have 100% results, correct one. To get continuous ranks, we use rank with dense, right? So all of you have given a very good answer. Thank you. All right, so let's see if we can discuss some other operator, because grouping and all I'll discuss in my next lecture. We have discussed it so many times. I think ab tak aapko yaad bhi ho jane chahiye. But then it's always a challenge. Let's work out with our this field. You see the last thing that we do today. You can see 2 commas here on screen. Can you see in the first record Smith clerk? So there are people who get commission and who don't get commission with the salary, right? So if I just do the ranking on this commission, okay, I do the rank M by G, and if I dump E, can you tell me what would be the first record now? Raise your hands. What would be the first rank? I'm ranking on commission now, G field. You can see the commission, 100, 300. Okay, so many people are raising hands. Very good, very good. So let's see. Yeah. Just a second. Okay. Many people, Madhav, Karthik, Gagan, Deepti, Dimanshu, Aditya. Okay, let's ask Aditya Mehra. Many people are still raising hands. That's good.
Sir, null value will get the higher priority.
So all the null values will have rank 1, you want to say, right?
Yes.
There are how many null values? I think let's see. Let's see. 7, I think the 8th record would be the next rank. 7 ones and then 8, I suppose, if you are correct, Aditya. Because we are using an older data set. I think it's having 14 rows. Yeah, so there are total how many records? Yeah, we do have all the records. So the null values are, in the ascending order because they are given the minimum value. So they're all the null values in commission have the rank 1. And then after that we have the usual ones, 100, like this. Okay. Got it? Right, Aditya, your answer is correct. Thank you. Okay, so any questions from your side? We'll discuss all these operators, the remaining ones and all other details. We do have so much time that we can discuss all this big data analytics again because so much time has been given to you. So we do have a lot of time on our hands. After Diwali also we'll be conducting the classes. So classes are on. That's a good thing.